So, remember that time I said, oh, I just want to quickly refresh it and enjoy it, not really touch this one for a while. I do that with every time I buy a car, I'm like, no, I'm not going to take it apart. I'm going to enjoy it a little bit before we take it apart and do all that.
I think you get enjoyment out of taking it apart.
Yeah, I definitely do. I like touching cars, it's fun, right? Typical 964 fashion, this thing leaks oil from literally everywhere. Like if you come under here, we wiped a bunch of it off like a couple days ago, and you see it puddling up from literally every crevice that you could think of. You saw the pile of oil. The thing was parked there for 12 hours.
It's left stains everywhere we parked it.
It has stained every part of the shop. You weren't here for the white Supra.
No.
That's how the white Supra was. You parked that thing for 3 minutes and it just totals the floor. So, here we go. This thing needs every gasket. And I probably could just leave it, just like keep up with the oil and just drive the thing, but I hate it. It bothers me so much. And honestly, we are waiting on so many parts for this thing. We might as well get after it and, well, fully refresh this thing. And since this little boxer engine is shoved up in the ass of this poor little car, the easiest way to do that is just to take out the engine. Right?
Becoming Porsche mechanics real fast.
Right? Get my Porsche Master Tech shirt out real quick, because today we are dropping the engine out this damn thing. It needs to come out. It's a good thing, not a bad thing. Let's play Porsche mechanics today. I don't know why I thought of this, but to drain the oil on this thing, the drain plug's right here, which is literally right where the lift arm goes.
That's so weird.
Damn it, Porsche. All right, who's getting covered in oil? I think we should just let it bang on the lift arm. Just let it, just let it drop.
Oil.
Spoon, what are you doing?
I just took the belly pan off. Something fell off.
Certified Porsche mechanic.
Looks important.
What'd you do?
Is it metal?
What is that?
I don't know. It was on the pan. Looks important.
Is this like the trans mount? No, what is this? Oh, Jesus Christ, what is this? I don't think there's a way to do it without getting oil all over me. I know I've seen those funnels on TikTok where it's like plastic and you can mold it. I don't got one of them.
Back up. Back up quick.
Yeah. Oh.
Oh.
Whatever, it could have been worse.
There's no way around that.
This way you can inspect it real well.
Splits it up.
It looks pretty clean.
Takes as much oil as a diesel truck.
Yeah, it takes like 13 quarts or something. It's crazy. But remember, it's air cooled, which means it's technically like oil cooled. So it needs a lot of oil capacity to keep this thing cold.
I don't think that's anywhere near 13.
No, it takes a lot. I think there's like 10 quarts or something. I don't know. Google it. Steve, Google it.
For the 3.6 liter, it's 9.4 liters. We're off a little bit, but
It's still a lot.
still a lot. Spoon's eye was good. So the engine drops out from under in the back, or what?
Yeah, so this is obviously a little bit different than the conventional engine pull that we usually do.
Yeah.
This,
You guys are used to regular cars. Hondas, we just drop them at the bottom too.
that's true. This is Spoon's ready for this one. I think the only engine I ever drop out the bottom of the car is the Sonda, just because it fits so tight in there. But so yeah, we're gonna be pulling everything together. Trans, engine, dropping her down. I watched a couple of YouTube videos of old guys talking about it.
You're a professional, pretty much, right?
Seems pretty easy.
Yeah.
If you watch, like, I like Googled like pulling, I just want to make sure there was nothing weird, right? Like pulling 964 engine. It's just a bunch of videos of guys being like, and here I took it to the shop. I swear to God, I was like, what the f? I think this is like forbidden to pull your own engine on a Porsche. Oh, I never unplugged it. It was too sensitive. Shit. You good? You good right there?
Go get the ladder. This means I get to make a new exhaust, right?
I was about to say, I feel like this is like a good time to mention that we should just make a new exhaust for this thing, because it looks like it'd be pretty easy to.
There's sweat beating down my forehead yet. Because I can feel it.
You don't give me a razor?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, man. This grommet is too fucking tight.
It's not heavy, but when you're holding it like this for a while.
Trade me.
Oh, that's better. Now we're good now. Did you just cut the whole plug off?
Yeah, just cut it. It's alright. Should probably replace that anyways. Look at the exhaust.
Factory?
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, for sure.
Look at this thing. So this is how I made the exhaust ladder. You just turn this valve right here. You see that? But look at this thing. It looks like it was off of like a industrial like.
It's like a water pipe valve.
So funny. Whatever. All right. This will probably go back on until... Alright, I'll order materials. Ooh, okay. Ah, there we go. There's a valve cover. Cool. So we gotta pull this whole pan? Does that come with the engine?
What?
We might, whatever. We'll figure it out. So this is a C4 chassis versus a C2, right? C4 means that it's originally all-wheel drive. This car was originally all-wheel drive, which is crazy, but from my understanding, no one really liked the all-wheel drive system. It didn't make the car drive any better, and it was just more added weight and more stuff to brake the car didn't need. So a lot of guys would delete the all-wheel drive systems, right? Originally, my car came with a front diff somewhere over here and a big shaft. Went straight through the tunnel here and then controlled the front wheels. But someone at one point in its life deleted that, and I was curious how they did. I was curious if they either like welded the front diff or something and capped all the stuff off, you know, do the Japanese special where like most of the stuff is still there but it just doesn't work. But it actually looks like someone put a C2 trans in this thing, because if you look, usually there's a little spline that comes out of the trans right here to drive the shaft. I don't know if they could just replace the nose of the trans, because if you look, the nose of the trans have been off. It leaks right here pretty good. Do you see it?
Yeah.
And obviously it's orange RTV, but I don't think that's, it might be factory. The rest of it is orange RTV. So someone might have replaced just the front nose of the trans, which I don't know if that's how they do it, or this is just a completely C2 trans just put in this thing. I am happy that it looks like it was done more legit than not, because until we took the cover off 10 minutes ago, we had no idea. So we have another drain plug on the engine itself. Yours is on like the oil tank. Oh!
Shot to the left.
Is that magnetic? Yes, it is. Like clean. It's not too bad. There's a little bit of stuff, but you should see what comes out of the average SO20. So one of the best parts about taking it apart helps me understand how it works a lot better. Because right now we just see hoses and stuff. We don't really know where they go, so I can't really tell you what they do. So by taking it apart, we get to see where everything goes. And at the end of the day, it's just a piston rod engine. So be able to know this thing front and back, make it a lot easier to diag and just have a better understanding of it overall. And the best part about this whole thing,
No coolant, baby.
we don't got to deal with coolant.
Why?
Every-
Is it air cooled?
Yes, sir. Huh. It's the worst part about every swap, just getting coolant everywhere. Well, I guess we know. Remember how I said I don't know where the hoses go? This is one of them.
That's me.
Oh, it's that much oil.
Watch out, watch out, watch out.
Don't put it on top, don't put it on top, just hold it. Got it. I would have never guessed that was an oil hose.
Oh, my face.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, shoot, Poppy. Damn, you got oil everywhere. Get that beard glistening.
Beard
Let me
oil.
get the sweat. Surgical spoon.
I used to know what that hose is for.
Carry Teens 3701.
N60 diesel oil
Body wash.
and body wash. Good for the curls. I looked at it. It's good for the girls. So instead of pulling the axle off to the side, we're just gonna try and remove the axle fully, because it's the one thing that does get caught up when you try to lower it.
Make our lives easier.
Or else you gotta remove the starter in the car.
Wow, somebody greased it. Smart, thank you. Anti-seize.
That thing's been out. This thing's been worked on before. Now what do we now we have to disconnect all the stuff in the engine compartment, but I don't think there's really much. It's actually quite a simple setup.
The fact that this looks simple to you always blows my mind when you say shit like that.
Remember, I started on 300ZXs, all right? It's all uphill from there. The one thing I am absolutely hyped on is that the engine harness disconnects. If I can figure out how to disconnect it. I'm trying not to break something. Oh, there we go. Disconnects right here, right? So see these two plugs? That's like the whole engine harness right there. Like, why don't more manufacturers do that? Like, usually you gotta like unplug it over here, over here, over here, pull it through the firewall. You gotta cut some things. Two big plugs connects the whole engine harness to the chassis harness, and look at. That's all there is.
That's it?
But putting a link on this thing is definitely gonna be
Next.
next. Dig it in?
You know Jimmy can't leave nothing alone.
No, you can't.
Motor's coming out.
Oh, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
For what?
Maintenance.
Okay, that makes sense. I feel like that's what people say about these cars. You want to do anything. If you need to do like more than two things, you pull the motor out.
It's easier to pull the whole thing up. It's not bad. Everything underneath is already done.
Okay, you think it's got gas in the AC lines?
No.
I never tried to kick the AC on. Want to put money on it?
I got 5.
Nah, there's nothing in there.
Listen,
All right.
I want AC to work in this car though. Put that on the list. I think that's a fuel line back there. Do we think this is a fuel line? What do we think this is? Is that fuel? Is this fuel? Yep, that's gasoline. That's so sick. It's just like one, this is what connects to the chassis. Is there a return though? It's a feed, is there a return? Or is it a returnless system? Quickly finding out, this is the feed right here. That must be the return. Because the fuel filter is up here. Do you see the fuel filter right here? Here's the fuel filter. Goes to this rail right here, and then that must be the return. What we got for the lines? What did that high pressure line used to go to? Oh, it's probably power steering that we no longer have. We have this metal bracket down here, and I was really curious what it went to. You see that thing right there? So it comes to find out that is actually where the power steering pump is supposed to set, and it's actually belt driven off the back of the engine, which is crazy. It was removed for some reason. I don't know why. The car honestly doesn't suck that bad without power steering. The front end's so light you barely even notice it. It would be nice to have power steering because it would make it that much cozier to drive. We either throw an OEM pump back on there, or I think we could do like an electric pump somewhere in the front of the car. Keep things simple. The frunk?
in the front.
I feel like people do that. That's got to be common in these things. I don't know. I still need to do more Porsche research. There's a lot of bad Porsche information out there, so it's very hard to sift through. All right, so there's not too much going on in here. It looks like everything is disconnected from the chassis. The only thing we have to do now is hopefully just loosen the mounts and raise the engine. I think when the engine is like halfway out, we have to unplug some things on the trans that's on the top, like the starter and stuff. But in the engine bay, I think we're all there. It looks like all we have for engine mounts is on this side, and on that side, it connects to a bar that then connects to the front of the engine. And I think besides that, it's just this and a trans mount, which is pretty impressive. So let's mount the engine on something and try to raise the chassis off of it. Yeah, chassis off the engine.
Yeah,
It's a weird concept.
that was right.
What is that bleeder like?
This one, right? I just saw it.
Yeah, it's so weird.
Did you disconnect the battery up front?
Nope.
Disconnect your battery first. Step 1.
Everything's been pretty accessible so far, but the slave cylinder is up there. Okay, it's not the worst thing ever. With the axle out, it makes it a lot easier. This is where most people usually have one of those hydraulic tables. You know, the little hydraulic cart things? We got a table.
Just rig some shit up.
You got this, Steve? You know a guy?
Oh, guy, you want me to clear some shit off the tabletop?
We got this. You think this is gonna hold it?
Yeah, it'll do.
Is that your test?
Genuine wood.
Come on. 5. Get out of here, Smooth.
Solid.
It is until it's not.
What's the worst that can happen? The table breaks? Engine hits the... Yeah, I guess it could do that.
Yeah, I guess you could do that. It looks like a lot of guys will just kind of put it on the headers themselves, which will be fine. So we'll do 2 on the headers and just put something random on the trans. Yeah, let's do that. I think this is how they do it at the dealership.
Bro, we're professionals.
Say when.
Duke on. Alright, trans is touching.
Trans is touching?
Are you putting the whole car on here?
I'm trying to like right at that point.
You're on. Oh, the car's on it. Trans mount off.
Alright, 1 engine mount is off. Steve, you want to be on just in case the car might. It shouldn't tilt forward. I think.
You want me to just like catch it if it does?
It didn't feel like there was a lot of pressure on it. You know what I mean? Like usually you'll be like, but didn't feel like there was much pressure on it, which is good. So came down quite a bit. Good. Now we have to go. Is the trans unhooked? Yeah. All right. So now we got to go up slowly and see what we forgot to disconnect. So.
Fast, you said?
Spoon, you want to go on the lift? You want me to go on the lift?
Slight bump?
Yeah.
Slight bump.
Trust me?
Just quick bump.
Okay.
Right there. Perfect. Okay. Oh, me running. It's gonna be a hard one. The hard line that came off of the oil filter housing, it just gets caught up at like this much. So we gotta loosen the housing, pull it out of the way, and we'll be good. It's crazy that the oil filter is is, so the line that comes out of the oil filter is actually low pressure oil, which is crazy because usually the oil filter has high pressure oil going through it, so air cooled.
Good thing I caught that.
Steve, tap it. Red button, Steve.
Red?
Yeah, keep going. Keep going. You're good on my side.
Go?
Yeah. All right, again. All right, let me look over here. I'm so happy this thing is two-wheel drive because it's so much easier to take out.
Good on this side.
Good on this side so far. Hit it. Go. I don't hear any bad noises, so.
See anything snag?
Yeah, tap. Oop.
Put up here.
Hit it. Keep going.
Hold on.
Stop.
There you go. There's just.
Yeah.
We're good, boys.
We're good. Send your home, Steve. Imagine the lift didn't go high enough. We're just stuck.
Oh, what a feeling.
Shake the car. Oh, she's stable. Wow.
We're Porsche mechanics, boys.
Hell yeah, baby.
Yeah.
There's. That's so funny. That was actually really easy.
We started at 11:30 and we took a half-hour lunch.
Dude, there it is. It's out. Oh, let's see if this thing rolls without breaking a casket.
Oh, yeah.
Hell yeah. Put this thing in my living room.
For real.
All right, Spoon, go get the K20. Not kidding.
Dang,
Dude,
great.
there it is. Look at this thing. This is hilarious. A lot easier to work on now, isn't it?
Yeah, you can get to all the things behind.
Look at
the
this. This
engine.
whole pan came with the engine. This is the engine mount. Look at that. Bolts to the front of the engine right here, and then hangs right here and right here.
What a piece of equipment.
Oh yeah.
Where is
The pull style clutch right here. That thing looks very industrial.
Mm-hmm.
That looks like it came out of the war. Yeah, so there's a list of things that I need. It's the while it's out list. You know what I'm saying?
That's
So-
how every project starts. While it's out.
That wasn't too bad, dude. It was like one of the easiest engines we've ever pulled. I'm gonna show you, like, even you could be a Porsche mechanic. NA964 is probably the simplest one out there.
So easy. Steve could do it.
So the thing's filthy, but nothing's in bad condition, right? Obviously, like the hood and stuff here is just like dry rotted, but everything's good. The car's not rusty. The pan is a little rusty, but I think I can get a new pan for it. It's like whole belly pan thing. Just like seals. This is like the floor pan of the rear, so that's kind of crazy. Everything's just dusty. It's not bad though, it's just dusty. This thing will clean up dramatically with a quick power wash. I just have to figure out what I have to cover when I power wash this. There's a lot of like air vents and stuff going everywhere, but the hoses aren't really dry rotted, which is really nice. Probably gonna want to replace the intake boots and stuff like that, just because doing that out of the car would be a lot easier than doing in the car, and those are probably a little dry rotted. Maybe vapor hone the intake, because why not?
Polish it?
No, I'm not polishing that. This thing has 2 distributors, which I don't really know why. Can we go coil and plug? I don't know if there's enough room for it, because right here is the covers. Someone's got to make like a GTR conversion kit. Everyone does, right?
Why does it have 6 plugs on each side?
Exactly. It's dual spark plug cylinders. Silly.
A rotary over here?
Yeah, right. A leading and trailing. Imagine. No, this is just the 80s, and you're just like, let's try this. More plugs, more ignition. I think we're gonna get. They make some really cool billet valve covers for these things everyone uses. So we're probably gonna get the billet valve covers. I have a big cart. We just had to finalize putting everything through. I wanted to hold off until we really got into this thing. There's a bunch of gaskets and stuff that I still need to figure out what or what, because I heard a lot of the stuff back here tends to leak over time, and changing it in a car is obviously a nightmare.
Your flywheel?
I should probably do a clutch and flywheel.
Do it now.
Do it now. Make something that could withhold 500 horsepower. I do want to turbo this thing. Like I think it'd be pretty easy to turbo it. Oh man. Maybe I should hit up someone who actually knows what the hell they're doing here. I'm not threatened by this at all. It literally just looks like an engine. It's just every engine has their own little recipe, like with RBs. You got to make sure you get new baffles for them, and you do a head drain and this, and this. Like, it's all simple, cheap stuff, but unless you know someone who's done it a million times, you wouldn't really know to order the right stuff, right? To be efficient, that's kind of what I need to do with this thing. But I think step one is just cleaning everything because it is absolutely filthy. So funny looking. I mean, it is a big engine.
That's why it's easy to stick LSs in here.
Yeah, LS swapping these things is super common. If LS fits, that means the K series will fit. What are you telling me cut it out for? That'd be sick. It's not too bad. It's just dirty under here. Like, I'd love to power wash this. I don't think we even need to, like, I was like tempted to paint it, but I don't really think it's worth it. Just clean up, make it simple. I don't want to go too crazy with the car because if I start going too crazy with it, then I'm just gonna not want to. I'm gonna make it too nice, and I want to drive it and do all this. So I think like this. I love this car because I can make it nice enough, polish it up, keep it clean, make it run well. Don't half-ass it. Just enjoy it. I don't need to like shave the trunk and do all that because this is all we have. Like, this is it. What you see is what you get. There's nothing crazy to it. You know, it's still, I'll call it, you know, the thing was designed in the 80s if you think about it, so it's pretty simple. It's clean under here. I'm hyped, and the lines aren't all, nothing's dry rotted, nothing, the seals aren't bad, everything looks clean.
Covered in oil, but clean.
That's why it's clean. Because it's been covered in oil its whole life. All right, so Spoon and I just kind of sat here for like probably the last 45 minutes just trying to get our heads around all of this, but it's a good thing that's out because now getting to see everything, we've learned so much about this, way more than if I was just bobbing around forums. You know what I mean? You can only learn so much by looking at pictures on the internet, but this is, I think we were pretty familiar with this thing now, which is great. It's funny because it's like extremely simple, but also extremely complicated in its own way. Has a different recipe for things like, but as we take it apart, we'll learn a lot more, and we're getting a pretty good idea on everything that we have to order. Everything. It's not bad. Everything's just like plastic and dry rotted, and we just want to like maintain that. And then this like tray, I think, couldn't find this online new. We couldn't think of the name of this thing. We tried a bunch of, that's the next issue is what they call everything. But I think this thing's good. We'll just get this like blasted and powder coated. We're gonna clean everything up tomorrow. We'll take it apart tomorrow, and I'm excited for it. So stay tuned for the next video where we actually dissect this whole thing, and we get to see how the heck a Porsche motor is well put together. So I'm actually pretty excited for it, right? I just quickly brake cleaned like the corner of this, and it looks awesome. So imagine this thing like Vapor Homes looks
Brand freaking new.
So we have quite the puzzle to dissect tomorrow, but it should be good. For now, I hope you guys enjoyed the pulling of the engine in this car a lot easier than I would have anticipated. So if the tech is charging you more than 2 hours of labor, find a new shop. But for now, you guys know the deal. Like, comment, subscribe. Stay tuned for more content. And Spoon,
Have a good night.
Because I